It is Southern Idaho's rock station, 103.1 The Edge, and the great Chris Jericho. Fozzy joins me. Dude, thank you so much for giving me a little bit of your time.
No, man, it's great. Great talking to you.
You literally got off a plane just a few minutes ago and still made time for me here in little old Idaho. And I appreciate that very much. Dude, you had a busy night last night.
Yeah, we did, man. It was an amazing gig. We got the call a couple weeks ago to open for Alice Cooper and Judas Priest, and we were able to make it work. So yeah, we had a great show last night in Atlanta. I think Corrosion of Conformity, who's the opening act on the tour, was doing another something was going on, so they brought us in instead. And I'll tell you this, Corrosion's got his work cut out for them for the rest of the tour because we crushed it, man. We had a great time, and just a lot of fun, obviously playing with some of the all-time greats and standing on the same stage and being their peers, and when you open a show for guys like that, you have one job, and that's to go to crush it and make sure that the people there have a great time. And that's what we did. So it was really a lot of fun, man.
You are one of the very few on my bucket list.
Have you and I ever spoken before?
No, this is the first time, man.
Okay. So yeah, so that we have to put Twin Falls on the list, man. We've
Yeah.
played that area a few times, but it's so funny when you've been around, for 25 years. We've probably done, I don't know, 40 tours of the States, and some cities just kind of fall through the cracks at times. But now that we've spoken, we will come to Twin Falls at some point. I promise you.
I would love that, man, so much. And the Crazy Train tribute, dude, Ozzy, the legend, the man. It's so cool that you guys did what you did.
Well, it's funny. So we had recorded the song a few years ago with the idea of using it for they were going to do a bonus, a release, a deluxe release of the album Judas with bonus tracks. So we did Crazy Train, and then that never really happened. So when Ozzy passed, I was like, we need to go back and revisit Crazy Train. So we went back and kind of gave it an upgrade and a few new layers of paint and Fozzy-fied it a little bit. And when you think of Crazy Train, I mean, obviously everyone's heard the song a thousand times, but our version has got such energy to it. And we played it last night live at the show, and it just tore the house down. You've heard the song a million times, but when you hear it, it always makes you feel. And we did a great version of it. And it was the number 5 most added song to rock radio last week on a couple different uh, platforms and media bases, and that's what media base and secondary market charts and this kind of thing. So we know that it was the right choice for the song. You could have done something more obscure, like, okay, here's No Bone Movies by Fozzy, but there's just something about Crazy Train, and with our version of it, I think Oz would really like, and we did our best to pay him tribute. And it's just a really cool addition to our set as well. It really fits the Fozzy vibe, and we're very proud of the version that we have and glad that people are enjoying it.
Well, and he was such an influence not only to you, and I mean,
Mhm.
I say this like anybody who's doing rock now, if you're not saying that Ozzy's an influence, I don't know what's wrong with you because Ozzy is, he was Ozzy, you know. But for everybody in your band, it's you guys have taken influence from him and appreciated him, and that was kind of like paying homage to what he did.
Well, yeah, and I actually had the good fortune of working with him a few times, and having my own stories and anecdotes directly from our time together. And I mean, I've always been a huge Ozzy fan since probably 1981.
Mm.
When we started singing, though, my voice just kind of has that Ozzy twinge to it. Like if I really wanted it, a couple years ago we did a cover of Fairies Wear Boots, and I said I'm going to sing this like in the best Ozzy that I can, and it's like it sounds a lot like Ozzy. He's one of the greatest singers of all time. Not that I'm saying I'm one of the greatest, but he's one of the
Oh
greatest
no,
singers.
you are. Let me stop you. You
Oh,
are. I absolutely love everything I've ever heard from you guys.
I
So
appreciate that, man.
carrying on, yeah.
I appreciate that. Just saying, I do have a little bit of an Ozzy twinge to my voice. So to do a song, one of his songs, it's always a pleasure. And like I said, to do his most famous solo song and to play it live, and it just really feels right.
Mm.
We were only ever on one bill, on the same bill, Fozzy and Ozzy. That was 2017, and that was a great night. But so now we can, pay tribute to Ozzy every single night, and we will use this song in our set probably for the next few years to come because it really fits who we are as a band. And Ozzy was a great guy, a great musician, somebody you could learn from on and off the stage. A
Yeah.
lot of lessons learned, always be nice to people on the way up because you never know when you're going to see them on the way down. That's an Ozzy classic, which I'm sure we've heard it before, but I heard it from Ozzy, so that means a lot to me. So yeah, it was just really cool to kind of pay homage to the guy that we all owe a lot to as a rock and roll band, and for me as a singer.
What I loved was that, and of course I didn't love his passing, but when he passed, all of these huge artists came out and they're like, the last thing that Ozzy said to me was this, and the last
Yeah,
thing,
yeah, yeah.
and that guy helped so many artists do what they're doing, and it seems like that guy didn't have anything but good advice.
Yeah, and even like I said, like last night, just coming right off of this show that we did less than 24 hours ago, talking to Alice Cooper and talking to Rob Halford. I mean, these are guys that are legendary icons, and Ozzy, of course, is right in there with them, probably the biggest of all. But everyone has the same thing. Is like, there's crazy Ozzy, and I'm sure there's people that crazy Ozzy pissed off, but
Eh,
Ozzy's one of those guys
it's rock and roll, baby.
that nobody says anything bad about.
Mhm.
Everybody's got compliments about Ozzy, and everyone's got a fun story about Ozzy. But I'll say the same about Alice Cooper and about Rob Halford. And my point is, the biggest stars are usually always the nicest people because
Mhm.
they've got nothing to prove. I was talking to Halford last night, and he was saying how he sings the best he can, and some of those songs are super high, like Painkiller,
Mhm.
but I said, Rob, you don't have to prove anything to anybody. I mean,
Yeah.
if you miss a few notes or sing it a key lower, no one's gonna care. You're Rob freaking Halford. So, you get these guys with legendary status that have influenced us. And, it's cool that they're still out there doing it. And so we lose Ozzy, which is terrible, but we still have Alice and we still have Rob and we still have those guys that are also in their 70s that are still out there doing it. So it's all about appreciating and enjoying the guys that were the pioneers in the type of music that we love.
Do you still get because you are where you are in your career and you're a name and everybody loves you, but do you still get starstruck? Like last night you're talking to Alice Cooper, you're talking to Rob Halford,
Well,
these
the,
these greats. Yeah, do you still get
the
starstruck?
So the funny thing is, like, I've known Alice and Rob for years. They're
Okay.
friends of mine. Like, I've got contacts for them, and we talk and see each other not often, but whenever we do, it's, "Hey, Chris, how are you? And let's talk for a bit."
Sure.
Um, but to answer your question, probably, I guess, a couple months ago now, or maybe a month ago, Metallica had a private gig in the Hamptons
Hmm.
to coincide with their Sirius channel,
Yep.
and at the Hamptons gig, Paul McCartney was there. Now, so was Stallone, and so was Howard Stern, and so was Michael J. Fox, and all these people. But when I heard that McCartney was there, I had to go say something. And I was starstruck, but I also was like, I know how to talk to people because I know how I feel when people talk to me, and there's a way to
Sure.
do it. And he knew something was going on because someone was taking pictures of us talking. So he knew that there was some kind of a vibe to me, but he couldn't have been nicer. We talked for probably 5 minutes about some obscure Beatles songs and about what he thinks of Metallica. And I showed him my tattoos I have of the Beatles walking across Abbey Road.
Nice.
Paul is there. And then I said, "Hey, can I take a picture with you? I know there's a lot of people, so I'll just hold it down so that nobody can see." And he goes, "Yeah, you can take a picture." And he lifted my hand so that we could take the picture. And then he gave me the rock face of like, and I
Nice.
was like, and then I did what every good fan should do. And people listening, listen to when I say this. I left him alone. That's the
Yeah.
best thing you can do. We had our moment. He was gracious enough to give me a picture. And then I said, "Thanks, Paul. Have a great time." And I walked away. Like, we're not going to exchange numbers. We're not going to become best
Nice.
friends. But it was just so yeah, I do get starstruck from guys like that because who wouldn't? I mean, even if you weren't a Beatles fanatic or didn't have them tattooed on your arm, it's still Paul McCartney, right? So,
Well,
um,
that's it. Yeah, it's Paul. One of the best Paul stories that I've ever heard was when Dave Grohl bought whatever studio it was. Like
yeah,
it was like
yeah, Sound City, or whatever it's
Sound
called.
City. Yeah, yeah, yeah. And Paul McCartney comes in and he's doing his thing and Dave Grohl looks at him and he's like, "How do you make it look so easy?" And he said,
Yeah.
Well, because it is.
Yeah.
The legend speaks, you
No,
know.
and that's cool. When you meet those legends like that, there's a little bit, but for most part, I mean, most of the guys that I grew up watching and loving are my friends, or we've played with them, or I've seen them around. Like, I have a fan base and a level of, notoriety as well. So there's really nobody that I haven't met. I haven't met Mick Jagger yet, those types of guys.
Mhm.
But other than that, you talk about, all the Metallicas and Maidens and Kisses and Priests and those types of bands. I'm looking at the posters on the wall that we played with them,
Yeah,
so you get to know them, and some what basically it is you break down the wall, no pun intended, of the fame, and
right.
then either we're just guys, and either you get along with the guys or you don't, and that's okay when you don't. But when you just realize we just are people that have cool jobs, you can relate on a different level.
And I think that is more true in rock than it is in any other genre. Like in 25 years in radio, I've worked every format, but it seems like in rock there are more down to earth guys who are just like trying to have a good time. They want to hang out with their fans, they want to play a good show, they want everybody to have a good time. I mean, and
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
that's it.
you have some of the divas and that sort of a thing, but I've never seen it. Like
Yeah,
anybody that I can think of. I mean, there's a couple guys that were kind of dicks, but they weren't big stars. Like I said, the biggest names are usually the nicest. It's the mid-level guys that are trying to throw their weight around to keep their positions, and that's probably why they didn't get to the next level of being a big-time guy. But like I
right.
said, you take everybody with a grain of salt, judge them and treat them how they treat you, and for the most part, everybody's pretty cool.
We talked about this very briefly before we jumped into the interview. I don't know how you manage your time like you do because you have a kick-ass podcast, by the way, that I'm
Thank you.
absolutely in love with. Talk with Jericho, and then you're doing the wrestling thing and you're doing the rock and roll thing. How do you make it happen? Do you sleep? When's the last time you had some time to sleep?
Well, like I have a very busy, and I was just talking with a friend of mine earlier today about how like this last month of mine has been crazy. Just the experiences that I've had and you know, going to shows, playing shows, doing shows, interviewing this person, meeting that person, going to Halloween Horror Nights on the red carpet for the Terrifier 3 haunted house
Mhm.
after being in two of those movies. Like I think you never take it for granted. You
Mhm.
always enjoy the moment and appreciate the moment. And you do what you love to do. And if that's the case, you can always make time and find time for it. I mean, that's
Mhm.
always the way that I've done my career. And like I just had a crazy 7 days on the road, but now I'm home for the next 7 days.
Yeah.
And I don't have to worry about going to work tomorrow or whatever it may be. So I don't think people realize that I'm still home quite a bit as well. But there is a lot of bopping around and traveling and doing a lot of stuff. But once again, like I said, I don't take it for granted because this is all things that I dreamed about when I was a kid. I mean, dude, like, you know, once again, going back to last night, never taking it for granted, but like we used to play Alice Cooper songs and Priest songs in high school,
Yeah.
both on the car stereo and in my band. And here we are playing with them. I mean, that's kind of the idea, right? That's kind of why we all got into it in the first place, is to live out our childhood dreams. So, I'm never going to complain about being busy
Mhm.
because I was lucky and fortunate and blessed enough to do what I always wanted to do. And in not just one field, but in multiple fields. So is it hard sometimes? Yes. Do I get tired sometimes? Yes. But do I also understand when it's time to decompress and stay home for a bit and enjoy my family?
Mhm.
Absolutely. So there's always been a good balance of that.
Well, I hope you get a little bit of time to decompress now and sleep a little bit because I still don't believe that you do that when you're out.
I'll sleep when I'm dead, my friend.
That's right. And man, I am so grateful to have the opportunity to chat with you. I've met many a radio guys and friends who have met you in person, and they all say the same thing. Like, you want to meet some dude who is down to earth, who loves what he does, and is just compassionate about people in general. It's Chris Jericho. So, dude,
Oh, man.
thank you so much.
I appreciate that, and thank you, man. And thanks for your support of Fozzy and quarantine and everything else. And like I said, we will come to Twin Falls at some point because I always say this. I never realized how important rock radio is until we started getting played on rock radio. It's still the backbone of the country. So your station is very important, and we thank you for supporting all of the music that you play and all the artists that you represent. So we appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Hey, drop some socials for me real quick. Websites, all that good stuff.
Oh man, I mean, Chris Jericho, Fozzy. I always just say, just Google me. You'll
Yeah, I was
find
gonna
me.
say, yeah,
I'm easy. I'm
it's
easy to
pretty easy
find.
at this point. Yeah. All right, man. Hey, enjoy some rest, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, my friend. I appreciate it.
All right, thank
Thanks
you,
for the
man.
support. Take care.